So I'd just like to start with a quick reminder of the programme of the eLene Economics of e-learning conference. So we've had the opening welcome this morning, and I'm going to say a few words about the eLene group as a whole in a moment. This morning we're going to have the opportunity to hear from the work package leaders, the researchers who've been piloting the European work in each of the areas that Michael mentioned earlier. And then we're also going to have some input from some other related e-learning projects, another one of the eLene projects, and the project promoting best practices in virtual campuses. So that's the programme for this morning. You will have chance for coffee at some point. The coffee will be served in the reception area where you all registered, so you'll have time to go over there later. And then this afternoon, we're in the room downstairs from here for a very informal discussion session, informal but structured discussion session around each of the themes. So there will be time for question and answer during the sessions this morning after the presentations, but if there are any themes that you would like to go into in depth, then you have that chance this afternoon. So the organisation of the eLene Economics of e-learning conference today is devoted to perhaps the more accessible side of the project, really showing what decision makers and other people in higher education management can get from the results of the project. And tomorrow we'll be running 2 parallel sessions, except I seem to have lost them on the programme, but you have them on your programme paper, the paper version of the programme, where we'll be going into the scientific angle of each of the areas of the work packages. So again, time to go into real depth in these issues tomorrow. Okay, so as Michael presented eLene EE, the project looking into economics of e-learning, I'm going to say a few words about eLene as a group. So the title of my presentation, eLene, my name is eLene, is a little wink to the French members of the audience who may remember a song from the 80s and a sitcom whose name was there was a song that came out of it. And we do think of the project in very, very human terms. Okay, so eLene, in fact, goes back now quite a way. It goes back to the year 2003 with the study commissioned by the European Commission on virtual models of European universities. Now, this study took place throughout 200 universities within Europe, and as part of the study, the Danish consultancy PLS Ramboll, who conducted the survey, looked into 8 case studies, in-depth interviews with management, with teachers, with instructional designers, with all the actors involved in e-learning. And for each of the countries, there was one e-learning consortium or one e-learning university that was selected. And at some point, we decided to get together. And so really just very, very briefly, in a few figures, we met 3 times in 2003, 2004. These project development meetings, which all took place outside the scope of any project and with no funding whatsoever from outside bodies. It was an investment on the part of our institutions because we saw an interest in working together. These meetings brought out 4 themes for collaboration, and you can see here that economics of e-learning is present among them. And this was happening at about the same time as the Virtual Campuses consultation workshop, which again drew out the need for looking more deeply into economics of e-learning. We spent 6 months building the group, and the outcome of that is really 3 successful projects in the e-learning program, the Virtual Campuses Action Line. So you can see here the 3 projects that we have run or that we are currently running. eLene TT, which looked into teacher training and the innovative use of ICT in education, in higher education, eLene EE on the theme of economics of e-learning, and an ongoing project, eLene TLC, which is really preparing universities, higher education for the next generation of students, or maybe simply the next generation of students. So to bring all the three projects together, we've created a kind of web hub which gives information about the group, which links off to the different project websites. And we're also trying to work in very, very close synergy between the different projects because they are different teams as well. So some of the examples, the move from eLene TT to eLene TLC was simply a continuity in the research and the activities related to the pedagogy of ICT-supported teaching and learning. Between eLene EE and eLene TLC, we have a common target group of decision makers. And so work is going on in both those projects to feed into each other and make the most really of what's going on in both projects. eLene TT, EE and TLC, sorry, that's a slight mistake on my part. We're making available the database developed in the first project to house all the outputs of each of the different projects. And within eLene TLC, we're also setting up a board of directors which will link the eLene institutions at institutional level. This board of directors will be made up of the university rectors and ICT delegates on two different levels to ensure that there's an effective information flow from the bottom up and from the top down on these issues, so that grassroots practices influence policy, and so that grassroots players are aware of policy that they should be implementing. Okay, the eLene Group also organised a series of events. Here you are with us today for the eLene EE Conference on Economics of E-Learning, and I'd just like to do a little bit of publicity for the eLene TLC Forum, which will be taking place in Bremen in Germany the 17th and 18th of April, where we'll be having a series of focus groups and sessions for discussion amongst all the different target groups of that project. So for decision makers, for teacher trainers, teachers, students themselves, and also instructional designers and educational technologists. So if you do want to know more about that, then you can either go directly via the eLene Centre hub or onto the different websites of the project. Okay, you can have that bit later. So really that's all I wanted to say about eLene as a group. A very, very solid partnership which is well established now, well recognised within the European community, and people have very, very high expectations of what the group is producing and what the group will produce in future years as well. So I'd like to thank you very much for your attention. And for those of you who are itching to get your hands on your emails, now you can have the wireless access for connecting up to the internet. Thank you.